What is up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of the What the Fanboy podcast slash show slash whatever we do these days. What is this called? I don't know. To my left, the terrific Tyler.
Hey, we're back. Terrific Tyler is a thing again.
And
I love it.
Who's that muscular man to your left?
Oh boy, he is that is a man. That's a man's man. That is the old Luke.
In the chat, Dead Fist says Luke of War.
That is the Luke
right.
of War.
I had to get an image of something that matched my current sick voice.
This is the deepest
perfect.
I think I've ever heard your voice.
It's true.
I think we should, in honor of Luke and just in solidarity with him, we need to bring ours down an octave. Ooh, I cracked a little there.
So we need to speak like this.
My son.
Y'all are definitely gonna make fun of me for this, but as I was driving home from work last Thursday, when I first started to feel like something was coming on.
Mm-hmm.
I do this thing to test my voice because it always gets like this when I get sick, and I treat myself like I'm in a car commercial.
Yes.
So I'll be like, the new Dodge Durango. And if it sounds real, I'm sick.
I love it.
That's a great metric. I'm here for that.
That is fantastic. Well, before we jump into it all this week, I want to remind you, if you don't follow us on social media, who knows what's happening with Twitter? When you listen to this, Twitter could possibly no longer be around. We hope it stays. I love Twitter, but if you go over there, and it is, I guess, I don't know how to, on the website at whatthefanboy.com, I will post a link to our Discord.
Yes.
So you can, if you're into Discord, you can join the Discord, and we're still kind of building it, but eventually we'll be able to let you submit Fanbox questions through there. We can talk about what you guys want to see on the episodes, and if you have suggestions and things like that. So
In a world
full of danger,
you're like
only one hero.
You're the honest trailer voice guy now.
Ooh, I love it.
Boobs.
Perfect.
Oh,
You're doing
that's
great.
fantastic. Well, while Luke sips on some, what I assume is maybe some tea, some hot tea.
That's what I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Tea. This is tea.
Yeah, tea.
Oh yeah, tea.
Some tea.
Black tea, honey. Nope.
Tyler,
It's
why
good.
don't you tell us? Tyler, tell us.
Tyler Tell. Ooh, a little alliteration.
Lots of
it.
teas there.
I
I'm trying to
like
think of
it.
another word and I can't. Tell us about your week.
Yeah, so I just got back from Houston, Texas today. I drove down to Houston with my buddy Max on Friday. Got to see friend of the show, Game Lord Master, or Lepke, as we know him here.
Yes.
Spent some time with him. It was a really nice little break from driving. And then Saturday we finished the drive to Houston. Spent some time there. I went down for the Texans and Commanders game, which was really exciting. I'm trying to go to a road game every year to see the Commanders play. And got to go to a Commanders fan rally. That was a really cool experience. Washington travels really well. And so they did a kind of fundraiser event for, I can't remember who it was for, but they did like a fundraising event at this bar called Pitch 25, and it's basically like an indoor soccer place with a bar and like cornhole, and it was really fun. So we hung out there for a while, and then we went back to the hotel and just crashed. Then Sunday woke up and went to the game. I give the Houston kind of fan experience a booyah. We were walking into the stadium, and this lady runs up to us, and she's like, hey, and I'm in like Commanders gear, like I'm decked out, right? And she's decked out in Texans gear, and she runs up, she's like, hey, are you guys going to a tailgate? And we were like, no, we're just, going to get in line to get into the stadium. It's like 10 a.m. Stadium opens at 10:30. She's like, well, hey, we're the Nuff Said tailgaters. And I was like, oh boy, what is this? And She's like, why don't you come on in? We have a DJ. We have all this food. We have
What?
drinks. We have everything you could want. We have slushies. We have all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, how much does it cost? She's like, oh, no, it's free. If you want to give money, we have a little fire hydrant. You can put some cash in, but you don't feel like you have to. Um, and so we got to go in there and hang out. And I actually ran into a bunch of Washington fans, one of them being the Hog Farmers, which they are a charity group for pediatric cancer. So I got to spend some time with those guys, speak to them.
Dude, that's awesome.
It was really cool. It was a really cool experience. I got some pictures with the guys and
made sure you got your other podcast out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, really, it was just casual conversation. It was really fun. We're in the group picture with the Nuff Said Tailgater group. So shout out to those guys. It was really an incredible experience there. And then went to the game. The Commanders won. The Texans had 6 yards of offense in the first half.
Wow.
The defense was swarming. It was a really fun experience. I can't wait for next year when I go to another away game, and hopefully their fans are as good as the Houston fans were. That being said, there were more Commanders fans than Texans fans in that stadium, and it was awesome. Like when we were on defense, there was defense chants, and it was like running through the stadium. I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, we're 4-1 in the last 5, and
nice.
Above 500 and looking at a playoff spot right now, which is kind of insane.
You guys. Oh my goodness.
Kind of insane. Other things I did though, so last week I mentioned Call of Duty Warzone was launching, as well as their new DMZ mode. I'll get the first thing out of the way. My reviews of these are Warzone thumbs down, DMZ thumbs up.
Oh.
So Warzone, I just don't enjoy Warzone. Like we played for 40 minutes and got 11th. Like we could play 2, maybe 3 Apex games in that amount of time, which is nuts. And you could win probably 2 of those.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts how long those games take, and it's just not fun for me. I don't enjoy Warzone. So if you're a Warzone player, good for you. I'm sorry, I'm not.
I watched some people playing it on Twitch, and they were having extreme trouble just setting up parties.
Yeah, there's some major server problems last week with Warzone launching, and it carried over into the multiplayer side of Call of Duty as well, like just the traditional multiplayer.
Oh.
It was really frustrating. You couldn't be in bigger parties than 2. You couldn't find games. Like, because I played with another friend of the show, Easton, and we couldn't get into games with other people. Like, it was extremely frustrating. But that's a different conversation for a different day.
Sure.
I got to play the new mode that's in beta called DMZ. For you, if you don't know what this is, but you're a PC player, you've probably heard of Escape from Tarkov.
Yep.
This is basically kind of their play on that. And so what you do is there are 3 factions. Obviously, you only start with 1 unlocked, and they give you missions, and they drop you into the Warzone map with, depending on how many people, there's a total of 64 real players on the map. And then there's like bots or like, campaign enemies that are turned up to like the hardest difficulty.
Oh.
And you basically have like missions that your faction boss gives you, and you're like trying to carry these out across the map. You have 20 minutes to do it before exfil. And so you're trying to do all these things. So it's like a PvE thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun. Like it's a really cool experience. I like what they've done with it. I'll give them credit for this. Warzone, if you're not like a Call of Duty player and you only play Warzone, like the free-to-play experience, this is a great opportunity for players who don't have the base game to level up weapons or unlock weapons. So like if you're a free-to-play player and you find the MP5 in DMZ, if you successfully extract it from DMZ, it will unlock in your setup. So you can then use it in Warzone as you can't buy your class anymore, but you can buy like your primary weapon. So you can set your that gun as the gun you want to buy. So basically, it just allows players who are Warzone only players to unlock more guns, which I think is a really good quality of life change by Call of Duty. So yeah, DMZ is awesome. I've really enjoyed it. I've finished my first stronghold in that game today when I got back from the drive, and it's really fun. It's challenging. It's not as sweaty as like Warzone in terms of like. Everywhere you move, you feel like you're gonna get sniped.
Yeah.
And like the enemies that are just bots are actually challenging. So it's really neat. If you've not played DMZ and you are a fan of Tarkov or Call of Duty, go for it. It's a fun time. I'd recommend it. And then jumping into my last thing here, which this one made the ticker. Pokemon Violet. If you're a Pokemon fan, or if you've paid any attention to social media this weekend, you will know there has been some fun videos out there of glitches and bugs and everything in between. And I just really quickly wanted to kind of give some impressions. So, I kind of like to write out an impression thing so I sound like I have my stuff together, because I generally don't. And that I wrote down here, what could be one of the best entries in the Pokemon franchise is bogged down by technical shortcomings. However, while those problems exist, there is a fantastic game underneath it all. Let's hope for future patches to stabilize this one. So there's technical issues. Like, this game is riddled with it. Like, the frame rate is never smooth, not once. But what I will say is it's consistently that way. So you kind of just get used to it. Like, you just kind of, like, it's not unplayable, because it's always that way.
Yeah.
Like, it's never better in like in any instance. Like, it's just always like that. So you kind of, like, the first couple minutes of playing, you're like, oh, this is brutal. But then you kind of just are like, okay, now I'm adjusted now. I'm good. So that's kind of a thing. I wrote down a few pros and cons here. So for pros, I'd say it truly is an open world game, outside of one thing, which I'll get to in a minute. And you can play it as you wish, like the game as you wish, much like Breath of the Wild. One of the quality of life things I do really like that they've done that Breath of the Wild could use is, like, when you complete something, it tells you in what order you've completed things. So, like, if you did a gym first, it'll put like a 1 there when you complete it. If you do a Titan Pokemon hunt, like Monster Hunter, it'll put a 2 there. If you've done a star base, it'll put a 3 there. And so, like, it kind of tells you, like, in the end, okay, this is the order I beat this game in. This is the order I completed my tasks.
That's pretty cool,
And I kind of like
yeah.
that, because in Breath of the Wild, you're like talking with your friends, and you're like, yeah, I think, it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure I did this Guardian first, and then I did that one, but I'm not 100% sure. And, like, so it's kind of cool that you can kind of track your kind of how you've progressed, because it just lets you roam. Like, I played for 40 minutes, and I was fighting something that was level 40 with my level 7 Pokemon. And I was like, oh no, this is not the area I need to be in. So I'm like turning around, like going the other way now.
Reverse.
Yeah. There's no more random encounters. Huge change. Part of the problem with the frame rate is probably that, but everything is visible. You can choose to engage with these things now. It's not random.
Yeah.
So you're not just running through the grass and you're like, oh, well, now I got to fight.
Sure.
So that's nice. Trainers don't automatically fight you if you cross their line of sight. You actually have to go talk to them.
Kind of them.
Yeah, like, they just made some quality of life changes. Again, like, they've done a really good job. It's just so unfortunate that the frame rate issues and, like, the multiplayer, all the glitches you're seeing are in multiplayer. None of them are, like, in the single player experience. I've not really had any of those. It's all when you're playing with friends, which is, again, super unfortunate. I would say also this is probably the first challenging Pokemon game since the beginning, really. It does force you, and this leads into my next thing. It does a good job of, like, making you switch up your teams.
Yeah.
It makes, like, because for me, I always start with fire, and I always go get the same, like, 3 types to start the game. And I've done that, and it's not worked. Like, I've had to go kind of change my approach to how I play this, and I really appreciate that. For cons, it's obviously the frame rate, the technical problems. Like, those are so glaring. And then the last thing is just, and this is a problem for all Pokemon games, but I call it tutorial hour. Like, when you start the game up, there is a 1 hour, basically, tutorial of having to get through everything. And if you've played them all, you're like, well, this sucks. Or if you've played any games and you're a little bit older, you figure this out pretty quick, right? But you have, like, you're locked in for this first hour of having to do all these little things. And I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I will address kind of what JT is saying here in the chat. For the most profitable franchise / IP to launch in a bad state is unacceptable. I would agree with that sentiment as well. This is kind of, I don't want to dunk on it, but it's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
You're making a game that's only on one console, and you can't even make it run well on that console. Like, that's bad. Like, that's bad development.
Yeah.
Because Breath of the Wild is, this is going to be crazy to say, but more graphically demanding.
Yeah.
And bigger, and runs
and it's
really well.
What, 5 years old by
yeah,
now?
It's 5 years old, and it runs really well. Like, Pokemon came out last week, and doesn't look as good. It doesn't run well at all.
Had it been delayed at all? Were there any?
I don't believe so.
I think Nintendo, other than Metroid Prime, has you know,
Yeah.
done a decent job at keeping things more or less on track. There was a number of things, Breath of the Wild or
Tears of the Kingdom
Tears
has
of the
been
Kingdom has
delayed a
been
few
deleted,
times.
but I think for the most part, like I don't feel like those games. I don't. Now I'm also not someone who plays them a lot, so maybe
Right.
I just don't feel those delays as much as others. But maybe a situation where another 3 months would have been better for
I
it.
think so. And I'll end with this. I'm not going to give my review, obviously. I've done one of each activity. All three of them were fun. My least face would probably be the Team Star bases, just because I've only done one and it was kind of a stupid activity, but it could be because it was the first one I encountered. I don't know. But I think the reviews for this game say a lot. Like if it's something you're interested in, read reviews, because it is important to know that there are technical problems with this game. Like they do exist. Like if you read it and you're like, oh well, I won't have that bug. They're not bugs. It's just the game. It's just like the way it runs. So read reviews. Like go into it knowing what you're getting your hands on. The other thing I would note, all of the reviews are pretty good. Like you'll see some giving 4 out of 5s, or at Metacritic, I think it's sitting like right at 78 critic scores. Because it's a really good game. It's just bogged down by its technical problems, which is again really unfortunate. Hopefully they can patch it out. I've never seen Nintendo be one for day one patches, and this had one. So my hope is that they're going to continue to patch this and get it to a place where it runs just a little bit better. But all in all, I'm having a really good time with it. I look forward to playing more of it. It was really nice to play in the car on the road, just in handheld mode.
Yeah.
Other tip: play it in handheld mode, and like every hour or 2 hours, like close your game out and clear the cache on it, and just close it and then reopen it, because it'll clear that cache. Because I think Lepke, when I was talking to him about it, he was like, it's loading all the stuff in the background, but it's not dumping anything.
Yeah.
So it just like continues to load it up, and then eventually it starts running really poor, like even more poorly than it already does. So just some things to keep in mind. But all in all, having a good time with it. Look forward to playing more. But I'll be honest with you, I'm more looking forward to playing some God of War. But I can't take my PlayStation 5 and play it while I drive down the road. So
that's yeah.
It's not as easy.
No, it's not.
Fake gamer.
Yep. Well, cool. Thanks for those updates.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, but it's always nice to see what they're doing in that space.
Yeah.
And
it's
open world
it's
version.
It's a huge IP. It's the biggest.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Luke, I want to go to you next. What'd you, other than getting sick, what'd you do this week?
Don't do that.
Don't do anything more of it.
Well, I continued 2 of the shows that I was watching. And one of those was Andor. I think Brett's caught up on this.
Yeah.
You are correct.
We can talk a little Andor right now. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the same thing I say every week, and that is that this is the best Star Wars content we've got.
My first bullet point for Andor episode 11 is just in all caps, emotion.
Yeah.
Man, and like it's got, I think what this show does really well for me right now is it takes what is like classic Star Wars action and it gives it to us in these nice little morsels.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dogfight near the end of this episode that is just fantastic.
It was so awesome.
It's so good.
It was so awesome. It looked really good too.
And man, the other thing I'll say is
the Fondor is one of the coolest ships.
Dude, it looks. I need me a Lego set of that. I will put money down for that thing.
That thing's gonna get destroyed because it's too powerful to remain in rebel hands.
Probably. Oh, we can't have something compete with our Millennium Falcon. No. Man, the other thing, just like I appreciated the fact that they did something with the droids with a droid that was unique to Star Wars. It should have been done a long time ago, but it just hasn't. And be with with that scene, without spoiling anything, I guess. Like, they just made me feel things that I think
Mm-hmm.
that most people only get from nostalgia, and it wasn't nostalgia at all. Like
Yeah.
droids in Star Wars so often like hinge on the need for nostalgia because they fit in these tropes. And what this episode did was break that trope and make me cry. So
Yeah. I mean, the identity of droid in Star Wars has been sassy comedian
yeah,
in every single instance, and instead now we got like sad old dog.
mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's a sad story, man. Um, but and the other thing I really like is we're like seeing a dark side. No pun intended. Maybe it was. I don't know. Of the rebellion, like they're having to do some bad things.
Yeah,
Like Mon Mothma's like, I might have to do something I really don't want to do.
we play with those. They play with those morally gray areas,
Yeah.
and in a way that doesn't like in even in uh Rogue One, I think the gray areas are there, but they pass quickly, and there's never really that remorse. You know, Cassian in one scene says, "Yeah, we've all done terrible things for the rebellion," but like you don't feel that the way you feel in this show what they're going through.
Yeah.
You're seeing them make these decisions and
Yeah.
sacrificing for what they believe is the greater good.
Sacrificing, like they're probably gonna sacrifice an entire part of their
Yeah,
army.
yeah.
Like that's a pretty messed up thing to do, but like they're just like, if it's either this or the rebellion's gone before we
Yeah.
even really start.
It's fun to watch them play chess with because you also see the Empire side of that. You
Mm-hmm.
see them scheming and you see the rebel scheming, and you like when they figure out what each other know and how they're moving the essentially pawns, which unfortunately are you know people or sentient life, um, around just in order to survive or try and cut off the head of the snake in the case of the Empire. They'll make a move to try and get to the rebellion, and seeing how the rebels kind of deal with that is fascinating. It's great.
Yep.
So,
Great show. Watch
indeed.
it, please. One more episode left.
And after this episode, man, you can binge it all. So there's no
Yeah.
excuse for like I was waiting for it to finish.
Yep.
Now you'll have the chance.
That's right. The other thing that I'm caught up on is The Peripheral. Did anybody else watch The Peripheral?
I didn't this
No.
week.
No. Put me back on.
Okay. I'll just give quick thoughts then. I really liked this episode too. We get to see what's that?
I'm messing with the camera shots.
Tyler's getting a taste of real power, and it's frightening to me. Go ahead.
We get to see future London, kind of how it really looks, which was awesome.
Oh, cool.
We're constantly learning more about that universe. We get to see the flashback that we kind of talked about last week with the army group.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And then a character that I feel like has been kind of on the side, which is he's coming into a lot more play now. What's his name? I think it's Tommy.
Is it
the
sheriff,
cop?
the sheriff or the cop? Yeah.
The cop. Yeah.
I figured he'd play a little more of a
At
role
some point. Yeah.
And it's just really interesting to see how much the Stub and future London, how connected they really are, and like what they use the Stub for. It's so interesting. The other thing I really, really liked, what's his name? Eli Gore.
Connor.
Connor, yeah. I love his character. He's awesome. I think he's hilarious. His chemistry with Jack Rayner is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wasn't a super big fan of this week was the wife of the like gangster of the town. She has more of a role in this, and I don't know, she just felt like kind of a dumb character to me. Um, it's whatever. But yeah, I really, really enjoy that show. I love just learning more and more about that universe and how everything is intertwined together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it this week. And then I think
Um,
next week's episode 7, right?
yeah, there's 2 more.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Nice.
I mentioned last week that I started a show called The English. It's a Western on Prime Video. It stars Emily Blunt, so of course I had to watch it.
Of course, yeah. Duh.
She's my girl, man. I had to. It was good. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, I think. I think the thing I liked about it the least was just the pacing. It didn't feel like a Western sometimes. The story just moved so fast. And I wasn't really prepared for that. The story they give you is good. I really enjoyed it. It just felt like everything was moving really, really quickly.
Yeah.
The 2 leads, played by Emily Blunt and Spencer Trask, man, they're so good. They're awesome. So props to them. I thought they really held the show together. They're really, really engaging characters. They have great chemistry. There was a twist I did not see coming.
That's always fun.
And it's nothing like, whoa, like that's out of left field. It's just like, it's more of a plot point from that era that like you just don't really think about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that might have been a more common thing back then. And that twist is like how Emily Blunt's child dies. Yeah, it's not what I was expecting. And it's really sad. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but overall, I think I just got to give you Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if being sick kind of influenced that a little bit. I did finish it when I was under the weather, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Good.
Nice. And then the big
I
thing. Or is there something small?
There's one more thing.
Oh, okay.
I started a new show.
Of course you did.
Machine.
That's right. Because after every single Prime Video episode I watch, they always pop up a thing. It's like, watch next. And, I didn't really ever think about it. And then I was like, well, let's see what this is. And it was like at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And like, what? And it's called The Devil's Hour. It stars Peter Capaldi and Jessica Raine.
Ooh.
And just for kind of like a premise, Jessica Raine's character wakes up every night in the middle of the night at 3:33 a.m., which is known as the Devil's Hour. And she always wakes up from a nightmare, and they might be visions, and she might be a medium. Weird things are happening in her house. Weird things are happening with her son. Maybe with the neighbor's family. There's a serial killer about. It's wild, and it's super good. I'm 4 episodes in.
Is it an 8-episode series?
It's 6.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just, there's twists and turns throughout. I'm just like, wow, I did not think that's where that was going to go. And I've really been enjoying it. I'm really excited to finish that show. I think you guys will both really, really like it.
Okay. Adding it to the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the big thing that I did was I beat God of War Ragnarok.
Machine.
Hence the picture.
The Luca War.
Yeah, I had to go with the theme.
I love it.
This game is awesome. It's awesome. I had so much fun playing it. The story is just amazing. And I think it just goes to like Santa Monica Studio, just the writing team they've put together to make these games, I think is so good. Because the first game, the best part about the first game was the story between a father and his kid,
Yeah.
literally just trying to fulfill their mom's last wish.
Mm.
It's such a simple story. And then this one is we are literally trying to stop the end of the world. But like through that, it's actually a story about a father and his kid and a father and his kid. Like the theme of all their um games is relationships between fathers and their children.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so well done. There's so many rich characters. Everybody's given something. Like there's probably like there's Kratos and Atreus who are your two leads. There's probably I don't know, 7 side characters, and you just feel things for all of them as you go along the journey of the game. And Odin is an awesome villain. The Aesir, the Norse gods that you go along the way are awesome. Like Thor and Heimdall and all these awesome people throughout the game. You just they have such great development, and that's something so rare in games, and I feel like it's only stuff I get in Naughty Dog video games. But I got that here as well. And man, I reached the last mission, and like the cutscene going into it is just so epic. You just had like this super emotional cutscene with your son telling these stories, and you go into this last mission, you're all riled up, and it's just killing all the bad guys, going crazy with all the weapons you got, and it's so awesome. And I was so satisfied at the end. I thought the story wise and emotionally, based on the characters and the decisions that they make throughout the game, I thought the ending of the game made sense. And I don't know, I appreciated that nothing came out of left field. Which is awesome. It was so awesome. How many times have I said awesome?
I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, right.
I like it.
But yeah, it was so much fun. I think the minor shortcomings of the game.
Let's say last week you talked a little bit about like the UI and the skill tree, and does that get better over time, or once you kind of unlock everything, doesn't really matter?
Well, here, let me take a drink real quick. Sorry, my throat was feeling it.
Don't
the
talk more
UI
than
is
you
an
need
absolute
to.
mess. I get lost in it. There's like 15 sub menus, I feel like, as you're going through, and there's 10 tabs. And sorry if this is like minor spoilers, but you play as Kratos and you play as Atreus, so they both have skill trees.
Separate, yeah.
And then there's multiple characters that are like sub characters that you can unlock stuff for too, like how Atreus is your buddy as you go along. There's other ones that you will play with throughout as well, and they have like miniature trees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, man, I don't even know what their subset of moves is. I'm just focusing on Kratos, and if I'm playing as him, Atreus. Then like there's armor, 3 different types of armor. And they have to min max all of their stats, and I eventually, like, I'm playing on the easiest difficulty that isn't just give me the story. I'm playing on give me mercy.
Yeah.
I'm bad at video games, and like I want a little bit of a challenge, but like I'm looking at all these stats and I'm just like, man, I don't want to do this. But like the game is still hard enough, at least for me, on easy, that I still have to like worry about it a little bit. And I would switch up my armor, but eventually I finally made it to the last mission. I was like, okay, this is the set of armor that I like. I upgraded that one all the way, and I just like deleted all the rest of my armor. Or sold it or whatever. It's just, it felt like too much. I feel like armor should have just been like a transmog thing only, or maybe like it gives you this ability, Which that's another thing. Like there's relic. There's a relic. Do you know about the relic, Tyler?
Which maybe not.
So I literally learned this on the second to last mission. If you hold L1 and hit O, you have like a special move.
Oh yes.
Didn't even know about it. I was like flipping through my menu and I was like, what the heck is this relic that I keep switching? And then it's like, do this and do a realm shift. And it doesn't even tell you like what button to hit. And I was like, okay, I had to Google it. I should never have to Google anything on the controls in your game. It should tell you. And it's just so annoying. But hey, I used it in the last mission and that was cool.
I wish you probably felt a little more powerful then.
I used it like twice. The health was dropping a little more frequently on the last mission because there's enemies everywhere. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just like underneath the relic, it should hit L1 plus O. It should just say that on every single one. Like, hey, this is how you do it. I shouldn't have to go to Google to look up your instructions. That was a Battlefield beta problem.
As we were learning how to make attachments.
Oh, Battlefield. I think that was on sale for like $9.
Yeah,
this week.
Yeah, Gotham Knights is on sale too.
Maybe I can get it now. I need to beat Plague Tale first.
I think it's like $38.
Still on sale.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on what's your rating?
What's your
rating?
Hold on, I'm reading. I have a rage relic, so when I'm out of combat, I build up rage bar, start fights with full Spartan stuff.
Okay.
I just had mine on like slow time or whatever, just so I'd slow time and I'd run around and pick up health. So I'm new.
That's smart.
Yep.
I still like these are little things that just annoyed me. That I probably just should have looked into sooner. But I still last week I said it's a fanboy worthy at the least, but it's a booyah still. The story is still too good. Like I feel like the story and just character work alone and writing, you put that in a game and you've got me. That's the reason I liked Cyberpunk so much. It had horrible combat, and I mean it lowered it down to a fanboy worthy. But good writing just elevates every product.
Yeah.
So take note, anybody making any sort of story, hire good writers. I'd say the other thing that I wish maybe they would have done for people on the Give Me Mercy setting is instead of making people have less health, which I think is what they did, or maybe I take less damage, I'd say instead of that, add more forgiveness to the parry system. Because parrying almost just feels impossible. Almost never get it. And so many moves are like, if you get a perfect parry. And a lot of the Give Me Mercy stuff feels like it's only in the story. Like I go out in the world and I find some random big boss. I would get absolutely leveled by them. All they're doing is red attacks. It's just like, I'm literally just rolling only. There is a shield attachment for that, Luke.
To open the parry window, make it bigger.
That shouldn't be a shield attachment. It should be a difficulty setting. Is what I'm saying.
All right.
But it's still an awesome game.
I'm glad
if you have a
it.
PS5, you need to play it. It's
yeah.
easily in the game of the year contention.
When I ever decide to play single player games.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. You never will.
Never. Not gonna happen.
Don't you have a PS4?
I do.
Do you have PS Plus?
I don't know.
You should buy
probably.
You should buy 1 month of PS Plus, download God of War 2018, and play it.
Okay.
You should do it. I know you won't, but you should.
I need to be sick like Luke for a few days, so can have a good excuse to just hang out in the spare bedroom, and it's wherever that's at.
Not worth it.
Yeah, I don't know that that's worth it, but
Well,
Not worth it.
maybe not sick as just like a little bit, just a little sick, sick
No.
enough to keep me home from work.
just a wee bit. Sick.
Just a wee bit sick.
You can use vacation, my brother.
I gotta save that up.
My brother in Christ. You can use.
Why are you
vacation.
taking off work? I just really wanted to play video games.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, we can move over to what I did this week. I did a couple things. The first of which was I had an awesome time this weekend going up to Tabor with our youth group guys, and we went to a youth conference up there, and that was just a lot of fun. I've got some really good guys in the sophomore class, so shout out to you guys. Second thing I did that's, it's a little more relevant to the podcast, I suppose, is that I went and watched The Menu on yesterday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm just going to read, there's not a lot to say without spoiling it, so I'm just going to kind of read but there's not that much to spoil. It's a weird, contradictory thing. So I'm just going to read my Letterboxd review. You'll follow me over on Letterboxd. Aha.
Yeet.
Great writing and performances carry this modern allegory about art, culture, and class above being just another modern thriller. It's a 6-course meal that delivers suspense, mystery, and comedy. The third act pacing falls apart as it tries to serve more action than it needs. Ultimately, it all comes together like a satisfying dessert worthy of a 20+% tip.
Wow.
See how I wound those?
That was so cheesy.
So instead of doing dad jokes, I do dad reviews.
Dad was so cheesy.
I try.
Gave me all the cheese.
I want to
Cheese whiz. It's like canned cheese.
shout out all of the performances, and there's a lot. There's kind of the three leads, I guess, would be Nicholas Hoult, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Ralph Fiennes. But all of the supporting cast.
Rafe Fiennes.
Oh, Fiennes. I've never
Rafe?
said Ralph.
Rafe?
I don't know. Hush you.
Voldemort.
He who shall not be named. They all of the supporting cast, I think, does a really good job of setting the tone and the tension. They're all essentially, once the second act starts, they're all in a room for the entire second act together, and that second act flies by. It's so good, despite there not being much action. They save a lot of the action for the third act, and I don't think it needs it. A lot of the action is there, I think,
because you have
to have some action or something, right? But it was fine. It just kind of felt a little unnecessary. But man, I laughed way more in this movie than I expected to. It is legitimately funny, and at the same time very unnerving and unsettling. And I just had a blast with it. Our theater was very animated.
That's awesome.
We had some people who were laughing a ton and gasping, and it really did have the whole breadth there, from comedy to horror, all in one. I'm gonna give it a fanboy worthy. I think it's really, really good. And I definitely recommend people seeing it. It's maybe not perfect, but dang, it's good. I liked it a lot.
That's awesome.
Oh, that was so fast. Okay. Then I got through a new show on Netflix this week, Blockbuster.
Oh.
This is the Randall Park Melissa Fumero. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Rafe?
Luke, I will take down your image on this stream, and people will no longer think you're jacked.
You wouldn't dare.
I know, I wouldn't. It's too much work. This was surprisingly mediocre for the quality of actors that they had. I didn't look into who was kind of the showrunner and writing, but this kind of felt like we need something to take the place of Space Force, but we don't have the budget.
Dana didn't make it through the first episode of this.
It's
and
not.
She loves these kind of shows.
It's not great. My kind of little one sentence was I think the first season struggles to find its footing as its talented actors cannot make a weak script, weak writing work. They can't find laughs or emotion. It has a few genuinely funny moments, but not enough sprinkled in there to make the. I can make another food analogy here.
I don't think the production of this will be picked up.
I don't think so either. I think this is
It'll meet the same fate.
I think this is a one and done.
Source
which I'm okay with. It's kind of a fun premise. It's weird for a Netflix show to be
making fun of
Blockbuster and its demise, but at the same time, like that's part of I think the inside joke of it.
Well, interesting timing too, considering Netflix's recent struggles financially.
Well,
it's kind of
yeah.
funny that they would do that. It's like we're gonna make fun of these guys because we're suffering from the same problem,
right? Trying to stay relevant.
Fake laugh hiding real pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the real problem is that there's nothing unique about it being Blockbuster in the actual story. It has lots of callbacks to the movie because this is a guy who's worked at Blockbuster for his entire life, and so he knows all of the movies, he knows all the lines. They do like lots of little movie quote drops, but
is it as bad as the Regal ad video?
Cringe.
No, but it is significantly longer than that. So if it's purely how much time do I feel like was wasted, Regal wins that fight.
That's saying something.
It's not horrible. It's not. I don't think it's a dumpster fire. For me, it's a pretty easy straight to streaming though.
It's right where it needs to be.
But like it's not like the straight to streaming that you expect to get picked up again. Like I said, it's not. I don't think this will get a season 2.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Dana was pretty quick to turn this one off. So.
Yeah. No surprise there. Great. Then that's all I did because I have Andor down here and we already talked about it. So
dope. Sweet. Jumping into some news.
We can jump into some news and
trailers.
If there were trailers, I honestly didn't write anything down for trailers because I didn't see any new trailers.
Luke, did you have any trailers?
I think there was an Avatar trailer during Monday Night Football tonight, but we can't talk about it because we're not watching.
We don't have the game up.
I don't have the game up.
Like for once, Tyler, you don't have the game up.
What are you talking about? Don't call me out like that.
My bad, bro. My bad.
It's true. I don't have the game up.
I'm giving the Avatar trailer a thumbs up.
Yeah, me too. Thumbs up from me.
They
without even seeing it.
They did drop some new posters today. I saw those, and they looked good.
I'll give the thumbs up to the Avatar trailer and a thumbs down to James Cameron cussing out the Fox executive.
Oh, I didn't see that news story.
Or Disney. I guess it's a Disney executive.
Was it Bob Chapek?
I don't know. Somebody wanted him to change something, and he apparently cussed him out on set or something. I was like, whoa.
Bob
Chapstick? I didn't read the whole thing. Yeah, Bob Chapstick. Speaking of that guy.
He gono. That's like the big news.
Yeah, that is.
And we're going to lead with it, though, because we're talking about it. So, yeah. Just Sunday night, the Disney board was having its meeting and was like, oh, by the way, Chapek's out, and we're going to bring back Iger.
Iger's back. What a change. I don't even know what to say about it. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Feels pretty sudden.
But
because I thought Iger retired.
He did. I think Iger wanted out. And the board was like, hey, how does 30 million more sound?
They were like,
no, they kind of talked about one of the articles I was reading talked a little bit about as I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the entertainment industry right now. We're seeing a little bit of a rocky economy
Yeah.
everywhere, but like here in the U.S., kind of where Hollywood is based, and I don't think we're at that point now where people are starting to realize that streamers aren't like
The
cash
future.
cows. They're like they serve a purpose, but you can't
Can't rely
invest
on them, yeah.
everything in them because they don't make the money back like traditional movies do, right? So
Mhm.
my guess is that he just has such a long history with the company, doing well with the company, being more or less innovative from that CEO standpoint that and I mean, look, if they wanted a stock bump, they got it today. So, um,
Yeah, it's interesting seeing that too. You wonder, like, WB was getting so much crap because of everything they were killing, everything they were canceling, getting rid of. I wonder if we see something similar with Iger coming back into the fold.
I don't think we'll get.
Not
I don't think he'll
nearly
get
as
crap
much.
though. I think.
I don't think he will either.
No, I think it'll be like oh, thank goodness he's riding the ship. Like
Yeah.
maybe we didn't realize how rocky the ship was, but like okay, we trust in Iger.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, no, for sure. He's an established and known quantity, so
Yep.
people will be excited about that. Luke,
Yep.
did you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know why, but I'm just expecting an announcement for Toy Story 5, Cars 4, Finding Nemo sequel number 3,
Frozen 3,
The Incredibles 3. Yeah.
guaranteed
I don't
money.
that's the first thought I had. I don't know why.
Yeah, guaranteed money.
Yeah, I mean, it would not surprise me just from a financial standpoint.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna do what makes money, and
I think what will be more interesting is to see what they do with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
How that continues to evolve, and what they do with parks.
yeah, because parks have been taking some interesting
Parks
hits
have
lately.
been in a bad place.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that started with COVID, but it hasn't gotten better as rules and stuff have relaxed around here.
You mean people don't want to spend $1,300 a night to stay in a hotel?
For some reason, no. I can't imagine why.
Yeah, weird. Me either.
It's also like down in Florida, they're trying to like kick them out basically. So who knows what's happening there?
Yeah. No, it's a mess, man. It's a mess.
When you have all the money in the world, you got a target painted on your back. So
Well, speaking of all the money in the world,
Ooh.
and I'm not talking about the movie,
Christopher Plummer's back.
not of that title.
I was so excited.
Fasten Your Seatbelts budget has now ballooned to $340 million. Woo, boy. $340 million for Fast 10. Vin Diesel's hitting all the right buttons right now.
Listen. Linda, listen.
I'm listening.
It's the greatest movie franchise ever created. It has multi-billion-dollar movies. They can do no wrong, obviously. Vin Diesel's egghead is perfect. Give it all the money it needs. Give it $100 more million.
$440 million budget.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
get those
round that thing up
special
to
effects
450.
looking real nice.
Let's do it.
Let's actually go to space.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise in the movie and actually go to space this time.
Maybe
We're
that's
dri-
the movie
we're-
Tom Cruise has been talking about.
Dude, what if?
It's they're changing the title to Fast 10 Moon
Fall.
Races.
Oh.
Moon Buggy Blues or something like that.
They're gonna
Sounds like
make
a
they're gonna
Cowboy
make the
Bebop.
good version of Moonfall.
There you go. Yeah, this is wild though, man. This is crazy. I think we've seen this with a few movies though throughout like kind of the end of this COVID stint, as it's kind of returned to some form of normalcy. We've seen a lot of movies kind of have this happen.
So and it's important to remember that we talk about like we say things like the end of the pandemic or like restrictions loosening, and that's just in Hollywood. That's just on the consumer side,
Right?
The unions, which I'm not trying to like shame unions or anything. Like the COVID protocols are still there, and perhaps for good reason. I'm not here to judge whether that's a good decision or not. But what it does do is that it increases the amount of time it takes to do things, and it increases the amount of money it takes to do things. So you're right. We get more delays. We get bigger budgets. And then movies have to do better to make up for that.
Yep.
So,
which again goes back to Zaslav and Iger.
Yeah,
like it's you're seeing these sorts of changes now because of things like this.
This is the world we live in. We have to live in to get the kind of gigantic Goliath movies that we get at the same time. Like the bad part of the like monopoly corporate conglomerate business model is that the little things end up getting cut.
Yep.
To pay for the big things. So that's kind of the double-edged sword. I love Avengers Endgame, and I wouldn't necessarily trade that, but at the same time you have things like Fox, 20th century Fox dissolving to become just another part of Disney. So luckily, Searchlight still makes good stuff. The Menu was a Searchlight movie. So
Nice.
They do still make some smaller stuff.
Or hear me out. What if they actually did get The Rock back, but they just have to pay him $100 million?
He's the single reason the cost has ballooned.
He's
love
like,
it.
fine, I'll come back, but you have to give me $100 million to make up for Black Adam's piss poor box office results.
Yeah. He got his feelings hurt this week too. By IGN.
That was please tell us about this tweet because that was hilarious.
Yeah, so IGN had tweeted about how Black Panther had passed Black Adam at the box office.
Like by like we're talking like 100 million domestically, right?
Yeah.
This was domestic.
And so the tweet was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, this is on IGN, has earned over 400 million at the global box office, making it the most profitable superhero film to be released this fall. Black Adam, which came out in October, has earned 353 million at the global box office. So The Rock posts laughing emoji. What a neutral post. I love competing, but IGN, you guys are in the biz with us. There's no competition with the established global brand of Black Panther compared to Black Adam and JSA, who a year ago no one even heard of. No need to knock us. We're new babies and have to grow.
Ouch! He called himself a baby.
It's interesting seeing The Rock's most successful movie financially. Still, it bugs him that like somebody else is doing better. And I mean, like he mentions, like he loves competing, and I get that.
This
but
is
like
the combo of ego plus social media.
Exactly. This is when you read it and you put your phone back in your pocket.
Yeah.
You don't do this.
It's fine. Who cares?
This is a dangerous place to be. Like you can't do that. That's bad for the industry.
Yeah.
Because he's outward facing. Like,
Right.
and if he starts acting like that, then fans are gonna act like that. And the line in that tweet that really bugs me is and we're all guilty of it, but it's the what a neutral post. And it's like fans do enough of that. Like don't add fuel to that fire as, the star of a film.
Right.
You can't and as big of an icon in Hollywood as he is, like that's a bad look.
Yep.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
I just want to analyze this even more too, because like I even think The Rock like has a point too. Like it is a little unfair to compare.
Oh yeah.
Black Panther to Black Adam, because like the first Black Panther made what 1.7 billion or something. What was it?
It was some crazy number.
It was over $1 billion.
Yeah.
And this is the first Black Adam movie, but DC is not a baby brand.
No.
Even Black Adam isn't a baby brand. He's a villain of a popular character who had a pretty successful movie. Wasn't nuts. But like we're not JSA, not a baby brand.
No.
It's been around for 80 years.
JSA's been done on the silver screen.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Like it's this isn't a new thing. Like people know about the JSA.
It's just like I don't know.
It's just weird energy. Don't do that.
Agreed.
I like the just pocket earphone comments. Like just keep going, man.
Yeah, it's okay.
Go make it. Honestly, I don't think I would have cared at all, really, if he didn't force $300 million into this baby brand of a product.
Right.
Mm,
Right. Like
Oh.
that's the other thing. Let your actions, like you put so much money into this because you trusted in it, and now you're going back and saying, oh well, it's not a big enough brand.
If
Like,
it's not big enough,
don't
why
pour
did
that
it
money
get
into it. Yeah.
so much of a budget? Why did it get $200 million production budget
yeah.
and look like as bad as it did?
Right. Right.
Like I'd argue like I didn't love the visuals in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but they looked so much better than Black
Black
Adam.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, you just can't talk when you have that much going into your product. It's like, I don't know. Shut up, The Rock. I'm tired of you.
Luke's
it
officially siding
personal.
with Vin Diesel here.
Uh-oh.
I'm siding with Kratos. That's the egghead I'd pick.
Love it.
Oh.
I got a few more things in the superhero movie world. If you
Yeah,
want to
hit
stay
me with
there.
them.
Speaking of Black Adam, this is your crazy news story of the day. Black Adam will release on digital tomorrow.
Oh boy.
It releases digitally tomorrow, November 22nd.
That's
Wait,
what, like
when
5
did it-
weeks in theaters? If
for
that,
a
4?
month, yeah.
Baby product.
Yeah. They're just babies. They have to grow.
Rock's a baby. He's a big baby.
He uses a
Big,
lot of
muscly
baby
baby.
oil. Probably lathers himself up in baby oil often. But yeah, that'll release tomorrow, November 22nd on digital. So if you did not get to see this one in theaters and you're interested, you'll be able to buy or rent it for home watching. And another movie, superhero related thing, Blade has a new director. Luke sent this one over to us earlier. I'm going to probably butcher this name, but Jan Demange, who directed the first episode of Lovecraft Country, which is a phenomenal episode, I should add.
Yeah, one of the...
Like, really good.
I enjoyed most of that show, but yeah, the first episode was really, really good.
I think the first episode was by far the best episode,
Yeah.
and then it continually declined on the way down.
It was a weird descent.
But he will be directing the Blade movie with Mahershala Ali still attached. Apparently, they're going to make it a little more dark and gritty, which we've heard this before. And they've said that it will probably feel akin to the old Wesley Snipes Blade movies, which I thought was an interesting comment. I'm wondering how much input Mahershala Ali is actually having on this, because it sounds like they're moving in the direction that he originally wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be interesting. I like the hire of this director because I really love that episode of Lovecraft Country. And I think this is, it's not like some super well-known dude. It's somebody trying to make their name. I just think generally this leads to good things.
Yep.
So I'm on
Yeah,
board.
and with Iger back in the,
Mm-hmm.
CEO seat, who knows what this actually, gets in terms of support from up high, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's some projects that, executives are like, okay, and then there's some that are like, okay, we're invested in it.
Yeah, this one we like.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have Mahershala Ali, like, he's really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
use him.
Mm-hmm.
And use him in a way that's impactful.
Yeah, and it's just a unique property for the MCU and what they could do with it. Much like, I almost said Daredevil, but not. What's his Deadpool? Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a very unique property that I hope doesn't just end up being
more of the same,
or I mean, my greatest fear is that it ends up being more like the Sony movies.
Yeah.
But hopefully not.
Yep.
So, I have a weird news story that popped up. Harrison Ford is going to be digitally de-aged for part of Indiana Jones 5.
I think it's like the first 5 minutes, right?
It's
like at the beginning.
I didn't see a time, but my guess is it's probably just a scene, yeah.
I really hope it doesn't have him running. Because, like, that was...
I hope it has him swinging through the jungle on vine.
Well, because, like, Luke and I kind of laugh about this every time we talk about it, but in Captain Marvel, Samuel L. Jackson running digitally de-aged looked so bad.
Yeah.
Or, like, Luke's favorite movie, The Irishman, right?
Get a stuntman,
Irishman.
shoot it from the back. You don't need to. We don't need to see his face. Just do a convincing hair and makeup job on a stunt actor.
Yeah.
You want to see a great de-aging scene on why it just shouldn't be used sometimes? Go watch. You can find it on YouTube. The scene of Robert De Niro curb stomping a dude in The Irishman. It's the stupidest scene in a movie I saw that entire year. The movie is so overrated. I hate it.
This was one of those stories that like popped up, and I am way more interested in this movie than I feel like I should be, and this was like red flag, and it sounds like it's just a sequence, so it's not probably a big deal, but
no, I'm gonna
probably
go
just
back
getting
and-
us from point A to point B at the beginning, like
from
you said.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
I am extremely interested in this movie. This is going to be one of my most anticipated next year.
I definitely am gonna marathon the old ones again.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't know why people are so surprised by this.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should have known this is going to happen. Marvel does it in every single movie. They always have a de-aged character. It always looks fine.
Just depending on how physical the character is really where it can be decided whether it works or not.
Yeah. I think I was a little surprised purely because it seems like Harrison Ford has been like, at least in Star Wars, very like I'm not into that kind of technology.
Yeah.
Well, Harrison Ford hates Star Wars. And he loves Indiana Jones.
That's true. So I guess if you could pitch him on it, it would probably be with Indiana Jones. That makes sense. Good point.
He's gonna... I don't know if this was a real thing, but apparently somebody asked him like what his favorite Marvel character was, and he's like, I don't care.
I love his responses. It doesn't
I don't know
matter.
if that's real,
I
but
don't
if it
know.
is, that's phenomenal. And it sounds on brand.
Very much on brand.
Luke, do you have anything? I have a few more.
Here, you can go to your next one.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the sad news now. Jason David Frank, who's known for playing Tommy Oliver in the Power Rangers franchise, passed away over the weekend. I believe it was suicide. So just tell people you love them while you got them.
Yeah.
And you just never know what somebody's going through. He was at cons a week ago.
Yeah.
You know, shaking hands with fans and being there. So you just never know. And
if you
try
ever
to love on people when you have the chance.
I was saying, if you ever have thoughts, like reach out to someone. There's prevention hotlines. Like
I believe
it's important to talk about it, and not just think like I can handle this on my own, or
and
maybe I don't want to handle it, but I don't want to burden anyone else. No, like trust us.
Yeah. Burden us.
Your people love you.
Yes,
there are people who care.
Burden your friends with those things because you want they want to be there for you whether you think they do or not. And they've even made the hotline easier. It's 988 now.
Yeah.
So if you have those thoughts, don't hesitate to call that line.
Yep.
Let them help you. Let your friends and family help you. Because to the outside, it looked like everything was okay. He was shooting a thing for Bat in the Sun. Like they were working on this project that they had been filming for like 2 years. It's just, that's brutal. That's two kind of childhood icons, for people. I was never a huge Power Rangers guy, but like I enjoyed it as a kid.
Yeah.
But there's many, many fans, across the globe. We had Conroy last week. We have Jason David Frank this week. And it's just, it's brutal, man. It's brutal.
You never know when those people you looked up to will be gone. So, indeed.
I have one other sad story. Should we just get the sad stories out of the way? Luke, do you have a sad story?
No.
I'll get mine out of the way. Chris Hemsworth plans to take a break from acting.
Yeah.
Because he learned he has 2 copies of the gene that leads to a greatly increased chance of Alzheimer's. This is brutal. That is brutal news.
there's this weird like I used this comment earlier, but like a double-edged sword with understanding our bodies
Mm-hmm.
and understanding genomes and you know like that's it's not, but it's a little bit like if you knew when you were gonna die, right? Like
Yeah.
that's great information, but also like the worst information.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't, thoughts and prayers with him, and I
I don't.
totally support his
Yeah.
decision to focus on family, experience life. Um, he doesn't owe anyone anything in terms of making more movies.
No. No.
Just live your life, man.
Yep. Spend that time with your family.
Yep.
So.
Not that he's listening to more
Right. Right. But still,
You never know, man. What's up, Chris? How's it going?
First name basis. All right, let's get to some happier news.
Yes, please.
News that isn't sad. Luke, what do you got?
The only thing that I really got is that it is still not confirmed that Helen Hunt is doing the Twister sequel.
Gosh dang it.
Known as Twisters.
Not yet.
Well, we check back next week. We'll find out.
Yep.
We want Joe back. We want Joe back.
I've got two stories.
Okay.
They're about a similar thing. So the first one is Blumhouse and Atomic Monster merged or are merging. This would be Blumhouse. We know Jason Blum and it kind of
his way of doing
his way of making movies. But Atomic Monster is James Wan's production company. So also a staple in the horror genre.
They want to build a horror superpower.
I think in the in terms of mergers, this is a very small deal. At the same time, it's two genre powerhouses. They're not blockbuster powerhouses, but they're genre powerhouses in terms of like name recognition and making things in the horror genre. So it's a big deal. And that's I don't know whether to be excited. I hope this allows more things to get made rather than maybe them having to choose less because of finances would be my hope.
Well, I think with the Blumhouse model, James Wan kind of does it in a way on his own anyways with his horror stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what they can churn out together.
Yeah.
And maybe this means James Wan will do more horror moving forward, and I really like his horror stuff. So I'm on board. I mean, I'm excited about it.
Yep.
So what else you got?
A federal judge blocks the Simon & Schuster sale to Penguin Random House, and the deal is off. So Paramount owns Simon & Schuster. This is a book two book publishers, and there were some antitrust concerns there. So
those are two big ones.
They're two big ones.
They're very big.
And it would be a little bit like probably like Disney buying Universal or something on that scale.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, that's a big deal.
That eliminates a major player.
Yeah. So we don't talk about books a lot, but every once in a while we do, and
I love books.
Books are for nerds.
Books are great.
That's me.
I'm a nerd too. I don't read enough books though.
Well,
kind of like I don't play enough single player games.
In the same kind of space, not really books, but like that same kind of antitrust and all of the acquisition world. Xbox reportedly offered a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, and PlayStation won't comment back to anybody about it.
Surely not.
So PlayStation's probably like, crap, that came out, and we've been saying they're not going to do it. It's like, oh, okay, so people start looking into it, and it turns out that Microsoft did say, hey, we're extending the olive branch, just take it.
Yeah.
And Sony just continues to do what Sony's been doing throughout this whole thing. So who knows, man? I think this acquisition is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get stopped.
Activision
will be under Activision Blizzard will be under Microsoft in 2023. And that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there have been some European courts that have kind of raised some flags, but nothing that would
they
actually
raised
stop
flags
it.
one time, and like the thing was like, Xbox doesn't allow Bethesda games on PlayStation. And then like everybody's like, what? Like there's a bunch of Bethesda games on PlayStation. So like I don't know. It's all weird, but I'm sure it'll go through. And then my last news story, and I'm actually excited about this. I think this is really cool.
Ooh.
Quentin Tarantino has revealed his next project.
That's right.
And he's going to be doing a TV show. He's shooting it in 2023. It'll be an 8-episode series. I'm interested in what he does with TV. Also, this doesn't count against his tally.
I would say, Tarantino, I see the game you're playing here. This is just a way to make more things so you can stick to your 10-movie promise. This is cheating, and I love it. I'm here for it. I'm all
down.
in. I'm going to watch the crap out of this show.
Yeah, I'm down. I don't even know what it's going to be about, and I'm going to watch it. I'm excited.
I mean, the Hateful Eight was basically just like
a stage play,
stage play.
Yeah.
So, like, what's he going to do with the show? I love it.
Yeah.
The extended version of Hateful Eight is a show.
Is essentially a show. Yeah.
No, it is.
Oh, is it really?
It's 6 episodes, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
So does Hateful Eight count towards his movie total?
Maybe he did that.
I think we need to interview him. Let's set it up.
I'm sure we can get Tarantino on the phone.
All we have to do is
let me have my people call his.
All of us send our feet pics to him, and I'm sure he'd be down to come on, right?
Okay.
I'm not sending my nasty feet to him.
Dude, he loves dirty feet.
Hadn't considered that as an option, but I'll see what I can do.
No, he also in the same interview mentioned how Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, in his opinion, his best work, and I thought that was kind of cool.
It's
interesting when directors look back on their own work.
Comment on their own work. Yeah. Agreed.
I find that interesting. Yeah. So,
Luke, would you agree with that? You really like that movie?
I love that movie. I think it's one of his best. I don't think it's his best. I think Inglourious. Well,
it's the old Tarantino problem.
No, Here's the thing.
Which was the one you watched last?
No, my favorite of his are Inglourious Bastards or Django.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there could be an argument that his best, maybe written one, might be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Dude, now I want to watch. I want to
It's
go
a
home and
tight
watch
movie, man.
It is a tight movie.
It is,
especially for how long it is. It doesn't feel like it. Like it's so well done.
There's no action. It's so well paced.
Yeah,
you're enthralled the entire time.
Yep.
And that ending, man, it's so good.
Yeah.
So I think the argument is there. If somebody came up to me and said, I think his best movie's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I wouldn't argue.
Didn't you go? We saw that one together, right?
Yeah, it's you, me, and Logan.
And Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And Hunter, I was like, Hunter, are you even into these kind of movies? And he came out of it loving it. He's like, that was awesome. I was like, whoa, okay.
I'll tell you what, though. This might be controversial.
Ooh, I love it.
I think I know what he's going to say.
Pulp Fiction's overrated.
I knew it. I knew he was going to say it.
Everybody only, I'd say, remembers the Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta stuff in that movie, and they don't remember the middle.
That's,
yeah. Accurate statement.
Indeed. No, that's fair.
Yep, that's all I got, though, from a news standpoint.
Cool. Well, we've got one, Patrick emails us at whatthefanboy@gmail.com, and he emailed us a number of Fanbox questions we've kind of been sprinkling over the last couple of weeks, and we've finally gotten to his last question, which is just some verses. So we're going to go down the list real quick. We're not going to really expand on them, because then we'd be here for an hour. But character A versus character B. Who are you picking in a fight?
Is it Prison Rules?
Prison Rules, absolutely.
Okay. It's just my opinion, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's like just your opinion, man.
Yeah, man. Dude, just your opinion.
That's like your opinion, man.
Dude. Okay, first one is Master Chief versus Batman.
Batman.
Master Chief. Luke's eating something. I don't know what he's doing over there.
I'm thinking.
Oh.
Master Chief versus Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Prison Rules.
They team up.
It's probably an accurate answer.
Yep. The Hulk versus Kratos.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go Kratos. I've seen him take down some big monsters.
He kills gods. Yeah, I'm going Kratos.
Hulk.
Okay, I love
Just
it.
to be different.
This one's interesting. Sauron versus Supergirl.
What?
I'm gonna go with Sauron.
Listen, and I need DC nerds to listen up for this one. No, anybody that has an S on their chest does not stand a chance against Sauron or any of the wizards in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
There's this thing called magic.
They're
Don't know if you know, but
they're a special level of the.
they give the supers a lot of problems.
There's like the supers, and then there's like Black Adam, because obviously he changed the hierarchy of the DC universe forever. And then there's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Maya characters.
Sauron in a landslide.
Maybe the version of Sauron that was stuck in the One Ring. That's the only version that they could beat.
Okay.
Because it's literally just a ring.
Love it. Blade versus Moon Knight. I don't know.
Which personality?
I'm gonna go with Blade.
They're gonna team up.
Still my answer.
They're the Marvel Knights, man. They team up. Fisticuffs, though?
I don't like these questions,
probably
man.
Moon Knight, because he has
Just answer it, Luke.
Khonshu.
Commit.
The vampires.
Oh, twist. I love it.
What a twist, right?
I love
The one
it.
that definitely wouldn't win.
Namor versus Green Lantern.
What? I was surprised he didn't go Namor versus Aquaman. I respect him for not doing that.
Yeah. I don't know Namor's power set outside of what we see in
he like can
Black
rival
Panther,
Hulk,
but
he's
like
pretty powerful.
Green Lantern.
I'm gonna say Green Lantern because I like Green Lantern more.
You guys are forgetting a very easy,
The writers,
very specific. No, well, yes, the writer, that matters. That always matters. But no, it's Green Lantern. Just take him to space.
That's true.
I would say, or
dry him out,
like
freeze him to death.
Like all I know that Namor can do is jump really fast in the air.
He can fly. Yeah, Green Lantern could just put him in an orb and leave him in space.
Just throw him into the sun. Shazam versus Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, because Shazam would just be standing there, like mouth, jaw on the floor,
drooling.
like, she's beautiful.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then Wonder Woman would just be like, oh, you poor baby, snap.
Yes, agreed.
They team up after a 10-minute timeout for Shazam for being a child.
Yes.
Oh, Black Adam versus everyone. Because
I'm going to take the field in this one.
Black Adam is going to change the hierarchy of every universe.
Black Adam versus he wrote that?
Yeah.
Amazing. Well done, Patrick. I'll take the field. I got the field in that one.
Yeah.
Specifically, I vote Jimon Hansu beats him. Because he's in everything.
Here's the problem. If he's going against everyone, that means he's going against
Skateboard.
He's going against The Rock and Vin Diesel, who aren't allowed to lose fights.
Oh, good call.
This is a good point.
They said everyone. He didn't say like everyone in the DC universe, just said everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
He specifically said the hierarchy of every universe. So
Vin Diesel and The Rock are not allowed to lose.
They can't lose. And Jake Paul.
That's right.
Oh man, this just got real crazy. Okay.
And he has to fight skateboard.
So staying in Black Adam territory here. Dr. Fate versus Doctor Strange.
I'm taking Fate.
I feel like Strange is like squirrely enough to figure out a way to win.
Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. I like Fate more, but JT's versus is my favorite versus of all time.
we'll get to that here at the end. That can be our final versus. I love it, JT.
Well, that's also a news story. There's a Snoop Dogg movie happening.
What?
Yeah, it's a Snoop Dogg biopic.
Oh, it's not something I needed nor wanted, nor will watch. But maybe if it gets good reviews.
Fate versus Strange.
Yeah, you didn't answer that one, Luke.
Dude, that's a
Here's the
great
thing.
fight.
I'm gonna give an answer I've given a couple times already. They're gonna team up. Unfortunately, things went bad. They teamed up, formed a superpower magic mind, and they destroy everything. They
I was
become
gonna
the
say,
bad
can
guys.
you imagine Doctor Strange with Doctor Fate's power set? It's terrifying.
Dude, give Doctor Strange the helmet.
Oh,
Yeah, it'd
bro.
be over.
He would, yeah.
Doctor Fate
You want that? That's how you
sacrifices
end the
himself
world.
and hands Doctor Strange the helmet, and then
You felt weird saying doctor to doctor.
I
didn't
did.
you?
It was real. It was
Doctor?
real uncomfortable.
You're like
Doctor?
questioning yourself.
Doctor?
You're like, is this right?
Doctor.
Doctor?
Okay,
Doctor?
Iron Man.
Doctor?
Oh, this one. Iron Man versus Homelander. Homelander.
Iron Man, he's a good guy.
This is a battle royale. Moon Knight, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Blade, Elektra, Batman, Red Hood.
Jeez, all of them die. I don't know. That's too many people. Going with Batman, because Batman always wins.
List them off again.
Moon Knight, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Blade, Elektra, Batman, Red Hood.
Daredevil and Electric team up for the win.
Batman and Red Hood also team up.
No.
Daredevil and
leave.
Elektra
They would leave.
go
They'd just be
off,
like, "I'm not in
go off
this."
and get a room, and that just leaves the others
No,
to kill each other.
because Daredevil would be looking for She-Hulk, so he could hit up another walk of shame.
That's a good point. Man.
Spoilers, bro.
All right, the last three verses here from Patrick they're kind of bigger. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go crazy.
Oh God.
The Star Wars universe versus the Harry Potter universe.
What?
The Force versus magic is where we're essentially ending this this fight on the destroyed moon of Endor. We've got the wizards on one side, and the Jedi and the Sith have somehow come together. They've put aside their differences, and it's got to be Harry Potter, right? I don't know. Neither of these power sets like demand energy for their use of their powers. It's essentially just
It ends in a draw, and then they fight Godzilla.
Hell yeah. Here's the argument for the Force then.
Hold on, I love
Hold on,
Luke's
hold on,
just great
hold on.
response. That was just hell yeah.
Hold on, okay? Brett said Harry Potter, so now I have to argue the other side.
I appreciate it. I love it.
I feel like there's lists of spells. Obviously, you can probably create new spells, but there's like a list.
That's a good point.
What is the limit of the Force?
Your mind and how you choose to use it.
We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen.
I'm
the
just
limit of the
saying,
Force.
Luke in The Last Jedi put his fake body somewhere else and tricked an entire army into pretty much doing nothing.
That's a good point.
That is canon.
That's a good point. Doppelgangers,
So,
man, they're real.
One person could put their mind into an entire field of Dementors and Dark Wizards, whatever, and they could be like, oh, Avada Kedavra, that Jedi.
Yeah, but Luke,
Then he's not there.
Hear me out.
But then they all
Albus
die.
Dumbledore confused some people with suitcases and
Here's the other
a
thing.
magic deer,
Hold on.
and he
on.
changed the hierarchy.
The power of the universe.
Forever.
Here's my other argument, and this is why I'm picking Star Wars. Star Wars is a bit gritty, and the biggest, baddest, most horrible person in all of Harry Potter couldn't.
No, here's
break into a
the
school.
real question: who has the most green? Who has the teenager who's gonna fulfill the prophecy?
It's Neville.
Neville gets his time. I love this answer. Thank you, Tyler. Okay, DC versus Marvel.
They team up and fight Godzilla. I'm choosing DC because I like DC more.
I'm choosing.
I'm making this an either or now. Not a battle royale.
That's fair.
Too many altruistic characters in this fight. They'll all team up.
That's a good point.
I would hope they'd team up because it's way more interesting.
Who's writing it?
I want to see who teams up with
Dwayne
who,
The
though.
Rock Johnson is right.
DC will win. And then they'll go to IGN and burn their building down.
Okay, the last one from Patrick. Game of Thrones universe versus Lord of the Rings
Lord of the
universe.
Rings.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. You ain't got nothing.
You don't need. All you need is Sauron.
Yeah.
You don't even need anybody else. Sauron can just be like, middle fingers, you're all dead. All of you. Here's some rings. Take these. I'll be back in 10 years.
The White Walkers are like, they like walk out and out comes the like dragon that Sauron had in the First Age, who's literally larger than like mountains.
Sauron would just show up. He'd be like, here's some rings. I'll be back in a few years.
Lord of Light ain't got nothing on my boy Sauron.
He'll come back in like 3 years and be like, all right, well, now I run your world. So enjoy.
He's gonna give rings to all of the kings.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they're all enslaved to him. Well,
Yep.
what do you know?
And then he'll kill them all and
He's
destroy
gonna have an
their kingdoms.
army of ring wraiths.
Yeah.
Who needs just 9? He'll have like 30.
Yeah.
It's George R.R. Martin's own fault for making so many kingdoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
What
real.
a dummy.
Okay, I promised we would get over to. Actually, JT added a few more in here. So, JT's first one: Tony Hawk versus Snoop Dogg.
Skateboard.
Greatest
Skateboard.
versus ever.
I'm just saying, like, you'll be in a fight, and all of a sudden, they do a front side nose grind on the hood of your car, and you'll be like,
I don't know what to do now.
I don't know what to do.
Snoop Dogg be out there crip walking, Tony Hawk skateboarding. They'd probably just become good friends.
They probably
Yeah.
would.
Team
Snoop
up.
Dogg would be like, dude, you look like that Tony Hawk guy.
And then they'd both end up smoking weed. So
Probably.
yeah,
This is true.
this is true. This is the
fight and become
legitimate
mates.
team up one.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
JT's next question: candy versus soda.
I'm a soda guy in this one.
I will
I'm
pick soda over candy 100 out of 100 times.
This one's also good, JT. This last one.
Oh, I love this last one. The Rock, the wrestler, versus The Rock, the actor, versus a rock.
I'm
How big
choosing
a rock we talking?
Talking like
We're like, this is like a boulder.
I'm choosing the boulder.
I am too, but you know why? Because both the wrestler and the actor, I think, will just beat themselves.
Yeah.
Like
they'll be fighting and forget that the rock's coming.
Oh, I would say they'll attack the Rock, and you're not gonna outpunch a Rock.
But the rock can't lose.
This is a good point. He merges his conscious with the Rock, and they assimilate.
They just become a rock.
They become the Rock.
Oh my gosh.
What if The Rock, the actor, and The Rock team up?
Against the wrestler?
Yeah, it becomes a boulder named the Rock.
Because The Rock, the wrestler, was a heel. Am I wrong?
No, he was a heel. He was a heel.
Yeah, so he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he is a bad guy. That's true.
It's in his nature.
All I'm saying is all David needed was a smooth stone.
That's a good point.
Going with the Rock.
Point. I love it. Oh my gosh, guys. We're at the end of the show already.
I got
Thank
a
you
question.
For Luke and his questions. Go ahead, Luke. Your question.
Was there any of the Game Awards?
We didn't talk about that at all this week.
No,
we did not.
We didn't talk about it, so I just moved it to Fanbox. Was there any category that like stuck out to you guys besides Game of the Year?
I have not gamed nearly as much this year. Like less this year than probably any other year in my life. So I'm definitely not the best in terms of being able to comment on these. 2022.
I'm gonna say best performance. Ashley Birch, obviously for Horizon Forbidden West, plays Aloy. Charlotte McBurney is in A Plague Tale Requiem. She plays the lead character.
Yeah, she's great.
Christopher Judge in God of War Ragnarok. Manon Gage in Immortality, and Sonny Soljic in God of War Ragnarok, which is Atreus. And here's my pick, and why I don't want to say it's my here's my pick, and I think this category is very interesting. I'm going to go with Manon Gage, and here's why. Immortality is a movie, like an interactive movie, and you're going through movies that her character has filmed, and you're trying to figure out a mystery through these shots that she's made in this movie. And I think she's playing 4 different characters within this game. And I think that tends to lean itself to victories.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Manon Gage. Also, this was her first job out of acting school, which I think is really kind of awesome.
Oh. That's awesome.
Immortality on Netflix Gaming.
JT over in the chat says Saifu got snubbed.
It's Sifu.
Sifu. I told you I don't know these things. Sifu got snubbed. Too many weird esports.
Not 100% why Elden Ring is a narrative.
Is a narrative.
It shouldn't be a narrative, because that narrative is doo-doo butter. It's not good. You literally have to figure it out by the 5 broken sentences you get every 6 hours you play.
Here's my hot take. I no longer think we need a best ongoing game category. It's the same 4 or 5 every year.
Who think's gonna win it?
Doesn't matter.
Best ongoing: Apex, Destiny, Final Fantasy, Fortnite, Genshin. Isn't it Genshin every year?
It's usually Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. I think we're at that point where maybe it could be best new ongoing game, but I'm tired of seeing those all be in there. So,
I agree.
There's my hot take
with that.
Thanks for bringing that up, Luke. I'm glad we.
What's yours?
Had a minute. Yeah, what is yours?
Mine is kind of 2 things. It goes to best score and music. I was super happy to see A Plague Tale be in there, and kind of just A Plague Tale Requiem be nominated a lot. Like, is in best direction and narrative and game of the year and a lot of this stuff. It's a super underrated game, and it's like not a huge AAA, which is super awesome. Unfortunately, though, they didn't nominate Horizon's score, which I think is a shame, because the score is so good and there's so much added to the score in the sequel. Like, there's a lot of new music.
Yeah.
So it's just not like a rehash. But yeah. God of War soundtrack, honestly, it's really good, but it's exactly the same as the first game. So I kind of hope it doesn't win. Metal Hellsinger, I think might win. Best music.
Yeah, I could see that.
That'd be really cool. Plus, I mean, it's a musical game.
It's about time. Actually, I don't know what past winners were, but. Oh, all right. Well, I want to remind everyone.
Sorry, I'm interrupting again. I'm really sorry. A new category.
Just trying to end this thing.
Best adaptation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The nominees were Arcane, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
I think this is either Edgerunners or Arcane.
I hope it's Arcane.
Listen, if Arcane loses this, it's got to be rigged somehow. There's no way it can't.
Arcane is so good.
I loved Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I thought it was awesome, but Arcane is like one of the best shows ever.
Yeah.
It was so good, and it needs a sequel as soon as they're able to get it out.
Yeah.
Cuphead Show is a lot of fun. Sonic, didn't watch it. Uncharted is absolute freaking garbage.
Sonic's not good either, so.
The only reason Uncharted is there is because it was the only other option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of my thought on Sonic as well. Like, it's not horrible, but it's also, I wouldn't have nominated it for anything ever.
I'll allow it to be there. That way, Arcane or Cyberpunk can get the trophy.
Get the W.
Dude, if Uncharted wins, I'm legit. I might like freak out.
Yeah, I hope not.
Well, we already know who's going to win it next year.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Never know. It could suck.
It could.
What if it sucks?
But it sucks. Yeah, great category. Agreed. I think that's a great new category. So, all right. I want to thank everyone who watched live tonight here on Twitch. We record these things Monday nights, or I should say we stream them Monday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. Find us on Twitter and Instagram. And just a reminder, we do have a Discord now. The link is in the chat, but also it will be up at whatthefanboy.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next week, we'll see you.
Bye, everybody. You know.